I'm coming at you from my basement, but I've made the videos just like I did at school. I'm here to do some math with you today. I'm excited to sit down and work through these problems. Today during math, I will be modeling all three strategies that we practiced in class for multiplying two-digit numbers and two-digit numbers. So if you're still practicing those strategies, make sure you watch the video at least until that part because it'll be pretty helpful to see them modeled. And to give yourself a little bit more practice with the strategies. So if you're stuck, this video can help. And if you're done and you just want to check your work and make sure you're on the right track, then this is what that's for too. All right, thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy your math.
Okay, so I have some math to get us started here. So what is the length of each side of an equilateral triangle with a perimeter of 15 meters? Okay, let's look at our math words. Perimeter is all the way around the outside, and equilateral means that every side is the same length. And triangle is 3 sides, so we know it's going to be 15 divided by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and we can check that by counting. 5, 10, 15. Oh, yeah, got it. All right, number 2. So 66 millimeters. You can see I was doing a little bit of explaining, but then I had problems with my video and I had to start over, so let's try again. So 66 millimeters is, first, let's say that's going to be 6.6 centimeters. And then to turn it into meters, we're actually going to have to move our decimal point 1, 2 over. So it's going to be 0.066 meters. Now this looks really confusing. 0.066 meters. Okay, and we're going to be getting into decimal points and multiplying and dividing with decimals and kind of how that works right away, especially with by tens. So this one, just know that if you have the meters, to get meters, you're going to be dividing it over twice. Okay, now on for the next one. What unit of measurement would you use to find the distance across the Atlantic Ocean? So we have meters, kilometers, and centimeters, millimeters. So I'd assume we'd want to be measuring in kilometers because kilometers is the biggest one. And if you're measuring in millimeters, you would have a really, really, really big number. So kilometers is what I would measure in. All right, next, what is the longest? So looking here, centimeters. Now decimeters are groups of 10 meters. Okay, so, or a tenth of a centimeter. Sorry, not a group of 10 meters, a tenth of a centimeter. So 12 meters is going to be your biggest one because meters are our biggest. This is smaller than a meter. This is smaller. This is 100th of a centimeter. This is a tenth of this is 100th of a meter. This is a tenth of a meter. And this is a meter. So obviously 12 meters is going to be the biggest one. Now I know this is confusing. I'm tripping over all of these different types of meters today, and I'm trying to get my mouth to cooperate with what I'm trying to say, so please bear with me. The answer is C. All right, on to number 5. The perimeter is how many units, and the area. So the perimeter is all around the outside, so you would just count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 units. You could also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4. You're going to get the same thing. All right, the area, though, notice how it says square units. So we're going to go through and we're going to count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You can also get that by going length times width. So if my length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can times it by my width, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will get 20 without having to do any counting. All right, let's move on to our problem solving today. So Melissa was buying supplies for her birthday party. She bought 2 dozen cupcakes and 3 gallons of fruit punch. Each cupcake cost $2, and the juice was $4 per gallon. How much did Melissa spend on food for her party? So we have to look. So it looks like she just bought cupcakes and punch. No, so if we figure out each of those, we can add them together. So each cupcake was $2, and she bought 2 dozen. So a dozen is 12. So she bought double 12, so 24 times $2. Okay, and so, sorry, I'm writing over here and you're not even seeing it. 24 times $2. So 24 plus 24 is 48. So she spent $48 on cupcakes. And on punch, she bought 3 gallons of punch. So 3 gallons of punch times $4 per gallon. So 3 times 4 is 12. $12 on punch. Now to find out the total on food for her party, 48 plus 12, add them together. I know this is a group of 10, so 4, 5, and one more 10, 60. $60. Remember to put your dollar there so that we know what we're talking about. $60 on food for her party. All right, the daily division practice. Now I am going to do this on the whiteboard because I really like the way that worked with the multiplication yesterday. So I am going to do the next 2 sections on the whiteboard. To do 123 divided by 3 because that's our first one. So 123 divided by 3. So can you see this one? Doing it this way is way easier than doing it with my camera facing the paper. So I'm going to try and do it this way. So 3 goes into 1 no times. It will not fit into 1. 3 times 0 is 0. 1 is my difference because 1 subtract 0 is still 1. I'm going to bring down the 2. Now 3 goes into 12 4 times. So I put my 4 up here. 3 times 4 is 12 with a difference of 0. Okay, now 3 goes into 3. Okay, you can also bring down the 3. 3 goes into 3 1 times. 3 times 1 is 3, difference of 0. So 123 divided by 3 is 41. That's saying that 3 goes in 123 41 times. Okay, my next one, 156 divided by 2. 2 goes into 1 0 times. 2 times 0, 0. 1 is left. Bring down the 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, and then I subtract to find my difference. I have 1 left. 2 doesn't go into 1, so I need to bring down the 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Now, if you are thinking, okay, Mrs. Oakes, I can't keep up because I don't know what my division facts are, you don't need so much to practice the steps of long division as you need to go back and practice those division facts. So you could even write them out, write out your multiplication facts, write out your division facts, and practice them so that when you go to work on long division, you're not using all of your brain power to remember the facts. You have them ready to go, and you can just focus on the steps. Okay, but still follow through with me on the video, but if you're finding this really hard, take this as an opportunity to go and practice your facts. Okay, now I'm going to go on to the next one. So it's 255, and we're going to divide that by 5. All right, 5 goes into 2 no times. 5 times 0 is 0. The difference is 2. Okay, I know that 2 won't, or 5 won't go into 2, so I bring down a 5. 5 will go into 25, so 5 times 5 is 25. Now I subtract for the difference. Now I have nothing left. My last number to bring down is the 5. 5 goes into 5 1 times. 5 times 1 is 5. There's a difference of 0, which means I have solved this correctly. And I'm going to move on to the next one. So those were the steps for that one. We're going to go on to the next one. And I'm going a little faster here because you are on a video. So you can go back, and if you miss something, you can always rewind it and go back a little bit and check out what you missed or what you want me to repeat. So 7. And then I'm going to do 126
divided by 7. So 7 goes into 1 no times. We can't fit 7 in there. 7 times nothing is 0. So my difference is 1. I bring down the 2. Now 7 goes into 12. I can only fit one 7 into 12. 7 times 1 is 7. And then the difference between 12 and 7, remember your doubles facts. Double 6 is 12. So 12 take away 7 is going to be 1 less than 6. It's going to be 5. All right, bring down your 6. 7 goes into 56. It's my favorite fact. 8 times 7 is 56. So it goes in 8 times. 7 times 8 is 56. And my difference is 0. All right. We're going to go into our last long division for today, and then I'm going to model 3 different ways to do multiplication, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So let's go our last division question of the day, work through those steps. So it's 162 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 1 0 times. We can't fit any 3's into 1, so I do my 0, and the difference is 1. I'm going to bring down that 6. 3 goes into 16 5 times. 5 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And the difference is 0. Now I'm going to bring down this 2. Down comes my 2. Now, can 3... Oh, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. Here I'm going to a 0. It's a 1. Now bring down the 2. Sorry, I'm worried about my camera and not as worried about my math. It's a lesson to focus. All right. The difference between 16 and 15 is 1. 3 won't fit into 1, so I bring down my 2. So 3 goes into 12, so 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12, and I have no remainder. And I'm all done. So 162 divided by 3 is 54. Now, let's try some multiplication, because that's what's next on your sheet. So our first one is 45 times 43. Now for this, I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way. So let's do it using Grandma and Grandpa's way for our first one. So remember, when you're doing Grandma and Grandpa's way, you want to make sure that you're looking at multiplying the 2 separately. So I've got 3 times 45 and 40 times 45. That's all you're doing. And if you can keep that in your mind, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to keep your numbers straight. So I start with 3 times 45. So 3 times 5 is 15. I put my 10 up here. Plus 1, because I have 1 to add when I figure out how many 10s I have. Now 3 times 40, 3 times 4 is 12, and 1 more is 13. All right, so I figured that one out. I don't need that anymore. I've done 3 times 45. 3 times 45 is 135. Now I'm going to move on to 40 times 45. So remember, when we're doing the 40, we put the 0 there because we're multiplying in this 10 spot. So 4 times 5 is 20, so I can put my 0 there to hold my spot, and I'm plus 2 in my hundreds column. Now 40 times 4, 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 more, 17, 18. Because I have these 2, don't forget about them. And now I'm going to add the 2 together. So 5, 3, 9, and 1. So my answer is 1,935. 1,935. Now, the next one I'm going to model, I'm going to do it with the box and window method, which I think is a favorite of a lot of people in our class. So for the next one, I'm modeling box window, but if you want to use a different strategy, go for it. Use what your favorite strategy is. Just make sure you're getting the same answer. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. So Box window. Oh no, I ran out of room. Okay, so I'm going to do, it's 94 times 12. 94 times 12. So I draw my box and my window, beep-a-doop-a-doo, and I go 90 and 4 and 10 and 2. This is the same thing you do with Grandma and Grandpa's way. It's just a different way of organizing it for your mind. So I start with 90 times 10, so 1 times 9 is 9 with 2 zeros. Now I'm going to go 2 times 90. 2 times 9 is 18, and I just put 1 0. 10 times 4 is 40, no extra 0 needed, and 2 times 4 is 8. Now my second step for box window is I stack them all up. 900, 180, 48. I just added those two together because it was one less thing for me to keep straight. So 8, 8 and 4, so that's 12, 9, 10, 11. So it's 1,128. Sorry, I bumped my camera here. 1,128. We're going to move on to the next one, and I'm going to use partial products for the next one. So the partial product strategy for the next one, again, if you want to use Grandma Grandpa's way or box window, go for it. So let me erase my work here. And then I'm going to move on to 47 times 34, and I'm using first one I'm going to do for my partial product strategy. I've got it all set up here, and I just have to multiply the same way I do with the other strategies, but I put my stuff into, I put my products down here, and then I add them all together. So 4 times 7 is my first one. So 4 times 7 is 28. So I would just write 28. Pretty simple. Now I'm going to go 4 times 40. And because it's times 40, remember there's going to be a 0 on an extra 0. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 16, but it's 4 times 40, so it's 16 with a 0. All right, now we've done 4 times 7, 4 times 40, just like we did in Grandma Grandpa's way, but now we're going to do 30 times 7 and 30 times 40. So 30 times 7, again, I'm multiplying with that 0. So 30 times 7, 3 times 7 is 21. 30 times 7 is 210, or 210 because it's 21 with a 0. Okay, now I'm going to move on to 30 times 40. And remember, just a little mini lesson over here. Remember when we were doing this, it would be the same as 3 times 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then you just go a 0 and a 0. So that's how you can keep your zeros straight. So it's 1,200. Now I'm going to add them all together. 8. There's 6 and 2 is 8. 9, 2, 4, 5, and then one more. Okay, so my total altogether, sorry, I had a bit of a pause there. My total altogether for 47 times 34, 47 times 34 is 1,598. Okay, so I used Grandma Grandpa's way. I used box window and I used partial products. Those are the 3 strategies we've been covering in class. Hopefully one of those makes sense to you, and you can use the one that makes sense to you. Because again, in the grade 5 curriculum, it's totally up to you how you do it. You just have to be able to multiply these numbers together. So pick a strategy that works for you and go with that. So let's work on our fractions worksheet for today. So it says we have learned that when we are working with fractions, we are dividing a whole into equal parts. For example, this square, and you can't see because the photocopy didn't work really well on mine, but it's divided into 3 equal parts. We know that 1 out of 3 parts is shaded, so we can write it like this. So the bottom number is your total number of equal parts. The top number is the parts that are shaded. So we're going to practice. And to make this a little easier, I'm just going to fill in my lines here. So it says, how many parts are shaded?
write that number here. So there's 2 parts shaded, and all together are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So it's 2 out of 5 parts, or 2/5. Okay, for this one, how many parts are shaded? 1. How many parts all together? 2. So it's 1/2, 1/2. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to this one. How many equal parts? Write that number here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. And I have 5 out of the 6 are shaded, so it's 5/6. Now for this one, how many parts are shaded? 1, 2, 3. And if you could see the photocopier was a little better, it's out of 6 pieces. So 3 are shaded out of 6 pieces total. Okay, for this one, how many parts are shaded? There's 2 parts shaded. How many parts altogether? There's 4 altogether, so 2 out of 4. For this one, how many parts are, let me just fix this so you can really see it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces altogether, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are shaded. Now they're asking you to draw pictures to represent the fraction. So look at the bottom number. That's how many pieces you need to make. So if I want to make 2 pieces, I have to draw 1 line. Okay, and then I'm going to shade in, and I mean that's not perfect, but it's close to perfect. I'm going to shade in 1 out of the 2 pieces. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next one. So if I want to make 3 pieces, I need to draw 2 lines. Do, and I'm going to shade in, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just do your best to practice. And then I'm going to shade in 1, 2 out of the 3 pieces. Now for this one, I need to break it into 4 parts. So I need to draw 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So now I have it broken into quarters-ish. And I need 3 of them shaded in. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that is our math for today, our fractions for today. We're just practicing writing out our fractions. So just remember, when you have a fraction, the bottom number is the number of pieces altogether that the whole is broken into, and the top number is the number that are shaded, or the number that we're talking about. Okay, I hope that helped.
That was helpful for you. Remember that there are more videos on the way tomorrow for tomorrow's math. If you have any questions, you can send me a message on Class Dojo or send me an email, and I'd be happy to help. I hope you're having a great Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow for more math.